Welcome back to Cocktails and Classics. This week we watched Casablanca, 1942 drama romance war film. I'm Dylan, and joining me as always is Zach, Ben,
Hi.
Cameron. I guess it's not always because sometimes we switch out, but it's the squad. We're like AOC and the other people that are in the squad.
The other commies.
Corey Bush, I think she's in there, right?
I honestly don't know anymore.
Well, I feel like now we should just lean into the whole Proud Boys thing.
And is
Going the
wearing
other
a
way?
tank top.
All right,
He's
Mr.
wearing the
Tank Top.
uniform.
Well, I mean, Dylan did just say AOC and the other ones that he can't remember, so makes us really seem not woke when the responses were like the squad, AOC and her pals. We're like, what's
I
that
don't
super?
know, it's expanded recently.
We're like the Avengers, Iron Man and friends.
Exactly. Wait, who are the other ones? There's like that big green guy.
Oh, Bernie Sanders.
The Thing.
Yes. So to kick things off and get everybody in the right mood, we're going to talk about this week's cocktail, which is pretty prominent. I feel like the French 75 is pretty directly associated with this movie, even though it's ordered once on a side comment.
Yeah, it's just yelled at a bartender.
Yeah, same with I feel like you could also do the champagne cocktail, but it is also a throwaway line. Somebody orders a drink. But that one's even mentioned more than the French 75. The French 75 is 1 ounce of gin, ½ ounce of fresh lime juice, ½ ounce of simple syrup, and then top your glass with champagne. And if you're feeling a little fancy, you can garnish it with a lemon twist. The French 75 hails from Harry's New York bar in Paris around 1915 and gets its name from a French cannon that helped win World War I. Returning pilots popularized it stateside. It's elegant and zesty, and this can be served either straight up in a coupe or on the rocks in a highball glass with a lemon wheel.
I wonder if the champagne cocktail they keep mentioning is the French 75 and they just don't know the term for it.
No, there is another cocktail called champagne cocktail, and it's I was explaining this earlier. Basically, you take a sugar cube, put it on your bitters bottle, turn it upside down, and soak it. You put that in a champagne flute with 1 ounce of cognac, and then pour your champagne on top of that.
Ooh, that sounds like too much. I much like this version better. This was easier.
Did you guys know the kids have a new device called a shambong? Where
No.
it's like a champagne flute, but it has a straw mechanism in it so that you can flip it upside down and bong it really quickly.
That sounds awful.
I had a friend describing it to me the other day, and I'm like, you really want to bong champagne, though? That's really carbonated.
Yeah.
That also just sounds disgusting.
Well, I was also going to bring up something the kids do. My wife put me on to this term, chuggy.
Chuggy, yeah. That just
Yeah.
seems
Yes,
good,
of course. No, it does not mean
Yeah.
good.
Totally. It's
Basically, shit
Zoomers.
millennials do.
Yeah, Zoomers talking about millennials. Basically, it's just outdated. So like
a
Crocs
side
would
part might be chuggy.
Side
Maybe.
parts are chuggy?
Yeah,
Yes.
they're all about the middle parts nowadays, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't get down with it, but more power to them, I suppose.
Same.
I was gonna say Ben and I rocking the no parts.
Ben's rocking just the no hair anymore. He gave up. Straight up just shaving it. So
Ben's rocking the LeBron.
Carpet matches the drapes.
no.
No,
would
LeBron
mean-
got millions of dollars and got hair plugs.
Yeah, LeBron would mean I'm wearing a headband to cover up where my hairline's receding. They don't make a headband big enough for that. So I just
It's
went.
just called a hat.
I went Charles Barkley and just sheened it.
How did they come up with chuggy?
I don't know.
Somebody
I don't know
said
where-
some stupid shit.
Oh,
one day
another
and was
one
like,
is
"That sounds
using
good."
using the laugh crying emoji. That's
Yeah,
out.
that one
That's
is-
out now. You have to use the dead skull emoji because you're dead from laughing so much. That's the new thing.
Oh, okay.
I don't like
Yeah.
change. I'm
Laugh
chuggy.
cry emojis are gone. Skull emojis are
I'm-
in. They're so hot right now.
Cargo shorts are probably chuggy, I would say.
That
No.
explains
Those
a few
have been-
messages I've been getting
Cargo-
from people.
I feel like
Cargo shorts have been out
out
for
of
a
style
long time.
yeah. They haven't been in style since like 2006.
But did you guys see the news story about the Belleville Mire?
Kind of.
There are two.
Yeah.
I think Jared.
Two guys got in a fight over a road rage incident in the Mire parking lot. Police were called. Secondly, a man
the poop
took
in the
a
box?
shit in a box
That's the one I
in
heard.
Mire and proceeded to put it back on the shelf.
What?
Oh my god.
Yes.
What the fuck?
Who does this?
Could you imagine? Could you
That's
imagine
so-
buying whatever that was?
I mean, that just discovered.
Excuse me,
did
ma'am.
they-
There's shit in this.
Do you think they discovered that
returning
before? Like, do you think they were watching him on the cameras and they were like, "Why is he taking that box into the bathroom?" Okay, now we just put the
Wait,
box
wait,
back
wait.
on the shelf. I feel like we gotta look at this.
You're not allowed to take merchandise into the bathroom. He
Well,
had
no.
to have shat in the box in the
You
aisle.
physically
But you
cannot
physically
take the
can
box.
though. You can. Like, you can take merchandise into the bathroom.
He went to the clothing department and like went to one of those like shirt racks that's a circle.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
went inside of it and kind of closed the shirts like a curtain.
He was like 7-year-old Dylan, like playing in between the shirt racks at JC.
Oh, I
You
thought
shitting
you
in
were-
boxes at 7 years old.
I was gonna say. I thought you were gonna say I shit in a box.
I am the poopatrator.
Dylan still shits in a box. He's really laying into this whole
Just gave
cat's my
everybody at Meyer
personality
Upper
persona.
Deckers.
No, but if you're the type of man who's gonna shit in a box and put it back on the shelf, you're doing that like out in the open. Like you're
You
Yeah.
think
And,
so?
in
Yeah.
mid aisle, you just pull it down, and
But you
people
put
are
it
walking
back.
past, and they glance, and they're like, "That I want nothing to do with that," and they just keep walking.
Yeah, but you think you... Yeah, I don't know. I feel
When
like if
they're-
you're doing that, you're just...
Well, here's the crazy thing. It was at like the middle of the afternoon.
Well, that's when they're not busy, man.
It wasn't like 2:00 in the morning when there's no one there.
Yeah, but they're like doing shit at 2 a.m. at Meyer. There's like the guy
Shitting
riding
in
around on the
boxes.
little. There's the guy riding around shitting in a box.
They're like
That's when they're like
restocking stuff
waxing.
at 2
They got
a.m.
the Zambonis out and shit, and they're like waxing the floors
Yeah, that's true.
at like
If you
8 a.m.
enjoyed
on
this
a
week's
Monday.
cocktail, send
The
us a
sh-
picture.
of a shit in a box.
A shit in a box.
Poop in a box, mail it to Dylan. I'll give you his address.
In
See
the
what
show
happens.
notes down below.
Yeah, we'll just post his address in the show notes. Yeah. Here we go.
This is my first time having a French 75, and I really enjoyed it. I feel like the gin doesn't get hidden. It's just complimented with
We're just
the,
gonna pretend
champagne.
we didn't talk
It's a good
about
time.
pooping in a box and like all this other stuff for 5
Oh, no,
seconds,
it'll be
for, like,
there.
30 minutes.
I'm just gonna leave it all in there.
You're gonna, what?
Yes.
The back alley hand jobs and
No,
cleaning
that
boxes.
one-
We don't
I
have
don't
much
know
to talk
about that.
about, right? This is a pretty quick movie. Case open, case
Yeah.
shut.
Yeah.
But I agree, Dylan. The gin's like
I agree. Pooping in boxes is fun.
I'm gonna avoid all the other.
When I was
I'm gonna
7,
avoid
I
all
also
the other
pooped in boxes.
all the other quote unquote landmines that were just
What?
discussed.
Why'd you stop?
And yeah, the gin being like not hidden by the champagne, I was kind of worried. I was worried I was just going to think this was terrible, and it's not. It's actually pretty good. I would drink this again, 100%. I would go to a local gin joint, and this is what I would order. And all the gin joints in all the world.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like gin, and I do like this cocktail a lot. I think this is one of those cocktails that can make you like a liquor that you don't appreciate without, completely hiding it. Like, I don't like vodka, so I might have to bury it in Red Bull. This is not like a berry scenario.
I was a little worried it was going to be too sweet, actually, when I was like putting simple syrup in there and like the champagne. I was like, oh, it's going to be like way too sweet, but it wasn't. It was good. Make a French 75. Check the show notes below. Get the recipe. There'll be a link down there. And tell us what you think. Hit us up at Cocktails and Classics Pod on Instagram. Send us your movie and drink recommendations. If you haven't seen Casablanca, it's available on HBO. I don't know why I'm saying it like, I'm saying it like I grew up in the South. I feel like Casablanca, it's Casablanca, but
Well, Casablanca, you sound like you're from Minnesota. It's Casablanca.
let's talk about Casablanca. Eh?
Just sneak right past you and surrender real quick.
America! Fuck yeah!
Back-to-back World War champs. Check out Casablanca. It's available on HBO Max as of recording. And if you haven't seen it, you got to check it out. It is a classic, through and through. Casablanca is a 1942 drama romance war film. It stars Humphrey Bogart, Ingrid Bergman, Paul Henrid. It's directed by Michael Curtis, Julius J. Epstein, Philip G. Epstein wrote the screenplay. It's the story of a cynical.
We don't talk about Epstein's anymore. I'm sorry. We're gonna have to cut that.
Yeah, you're gonna have to remove that last name from existence.
There were a couple Epsteins that wrote this.
Is there another one? Is there an extra Epstein I'm missing?
I think there were
No,
two
there's Howard
Epsteins.
Koch. Or Howard Koch.
He said two. Dylan
okay.
said Julius and Philip.
Gotcha.
Casablanca is the story of a cynical expatriate American cafe owner struggles to decide whether or not to help his former lover and her fugitive husband, escape the Nazis in French Morocco. Currently sits at a 8.5 out of 10 on IMDb, and it is number 48 on the IMDb Top 250 Movies. It won 3 Oscars: Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Writing for all the Epsteins and the Koch brother. Not those Kochs.
God. Not any of the people you're thinking of.
Different Cokes, different Epsteins.
Howard Koch.
You mean legendary Detroit Tiger Phil Koch?
It was also nominated for a couple Oscars too: Best Actor in a Leading Role, Supporting Role, Best Cinematography, Black and White, Best Film Editing, and Best Music.
I mean, the accolades for this movie all came after the fact, right? This is one of those movies that's up there with Citizen Kane in terms of how it's remembered and how it's respected.
I don't think so though.
Oh, that's where
What
it
do
is
you
for
mean?
me, so spoiler.
Well, I mean, I would say that it obviously won all the shit like when it came out, so it was obviously
Yeah.
regarded highly at that time.
Well, I mean, maybe this is dumb to say, but I feel like they didn't expect it to be like this. Like, I was reading stuff and, like, apparently this was just, like, written by a bunch of people who were, like, just kind of, like, churning out a bunch of different movies at the time. And this was just, like, another one that they churned out, you know, with some A-list stars in it. And then it became a big hit.
Yeah, back when Hollywood was cranking out those that anti-Nazi propaganda.
My God.
Well, I mean, not just that, but like literally back then, screenwriters just would submit scripts constantly
Yeah.
because movie studios turned movies out constantly. Like it
It was like the Ford like assembly line almost.
Yeah. I mean, basically, you turned in a script, it got greenlit, you cast, like, and then you started shooting. And then that day, you'd go out, you'd pick whatever extras to fill the scenes, bring them in, shoot, and then just knock a movie out like no tomorrow because they made money. It wasn't like the Avengers where you had to spend 9 weeks gathering 40 different A-list celebrities. You just grabbed 1 or 2, and then normally you grabbed like whoever the studio wanted to be the next like star. They threw them in the movie, get them kind of going before they give them their own starring role.
Yeah, well, I think this was Humphrey Bogart's like first like love interest role, like his like romancer role, I believe.
That's crazy.
Interesting.
I'm sure we're gonna dip our toes into this later, but Humphrey Bogart can get it, right?
I don't think so.
I will say it's weird because like Humphrey Bogart is like remembered as being like the. Like, he
I
would
don't think
basically
he's
be,
that
like,
good looking.
People's sexiest man. But the thing is, you've got to think. I feel like in this movie, he looks older.
I don't think he's that good looking. I mean, in this movie, he's like, he himself is like 40 years old in this movie
That's
He
the
is
thing.
older.
already.
And they like acknowledge that though. Like he's like, "Oh, where were you when I was younger?" And she was like, "I was getting braces."
Yeah,
Ew.
like I think.
And she was, let's see, 25, and he was 40.
That's the way she goes. That's just your second marriage, though.
He definitely looks like a lot older than her though. Like obviously
Yes.
they acknowledge it. It is a thing, but like yeah, like he's like wrinkly, especially like in the eye, like crow's
Yeah.
feet, I guess. And I'm like, man, Humphrey's looking a little old compared to her.
Well,
Yeah.
But she's also she's got like the like old Hollywood, like they've got some like gold filter on to like bloom it and make her look like angelic and like
Glowing.
hide all of her
Yeah.
like hides all of her imperfections and stuff. Like every close up on the female is like that. You're like, oh man, that picture looked a lot clearer when there was two of them in the frame, and then now that it's just her.
Now it's just
It's
softened
like
up.
super bloomed.
Right.
Yeah.
They took that still into Photoshop and they just hit that with a little blur real quick, just kind of hide some of that. I think Humphrey Bogart's just kind of remembered that way because of the fact that he was like the A-list celebrity for a couple years. I mean, between this, I think like a couple years before this, he had done Maltese Falcon. I don't know. I feel like that's the way with like a lot of celebrities though. Where if like you were to take them out of celebrity, you'd be like, yeah, that guy's like good looking, but because you see them constantly and they're like always right in front of your face, I feel like then
Every
you view
male
them
actor,
as
pretty much.
more attractive.
Tom Cruise is middle tooth.
Yeah.
Women are like, Tom Cruise is so sexy.
We're
You're
about to
like,
get doxxed by the Church of Scientology.
Oh no.
I mean, I think Tom Cruise is a good-looking guy, even without his,
I mean, but-
with his middle tooth withstanding.
But,
I mean,
like,
I
if
was
you
gonna
were
say
like-
like Jonah Hill.
What about like a Josh
Yes.
Brolin? Do you think people think Josh Brolin is super attractive?
no, same with Tom Cruise. I feel like they just like they're like average, like they're good looking dudes, but they're not like
Come
they're not
on,
like
no,
Ryan
Tom
Gosling
Cruise
or
is not
Ryan Reynolds, who
average.
people would be like.
that's crazy.
I think you just have a type and it's blonde hair. Short
Blue
blonde
eyes.
No,
hair.
no, no. I'm saying like if you were like sexiest man alive, you'd be like Blake Shelton.
That's true. They did vote Blake Shelton as sexiest man alive, which is like, I don't know. That
A lot of
seems
rural folk out there.
it seems a little far fetched, but whatever.
The country
He basically
boy
got.
thing.
Let's be
twice.
honest. He got the Trump vote, right?
I mean, probably.
I mean, it's still less than 50%.
The Russians love Blake Shelton.
I don't know if they do. That's where I'll draw the line.
They love
We will not take
Footloose.
this false
They
news.
love
slander
Footloose,
and
but
this-
only the remake, not the original.
Oh man.
Jesus. Yeah, I don't know.
Alright.
I feel like women actors. Like
You mean actresses?
I thought we
Well-
were just going by the term actor nowadays.
yeah.
Oh, are we?
What?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm very unwoke then.
When?
I
Yeah,
didn't know.
no,
I
that's
didn't
the
know we
thing.
made that
It's just
switch.
like non-gendering a job title.
Oh.
But I just feel like
I mean, but
actor
you can-
itself
you
is
can
made
use
to be
it-
masculine. So like,
You can use it interchangeably, but it is like you do use actor for both genders. But
Well,
you can use like actress as well. Like
I
don't think because I think the award is still like if you go to like the Oscars, I think it's still best actress.
It is, yeah.
Nobody's
Yeah,
called
but,
a
like-
complaint yet.
But like, yeah, no, I think you can do it either way. But what I was saying was, I
guys,
guess
we should start that
like-
movement. We should start that movement here, and that way, like, we'll gain a bunch of popularity, and then people will come listen to our podcast and be
Dude,
like, "Wait,
If
these
we
are
gained a bunch of popularity,
these
that'd be awesome.
these are the guys. These are the guys that started this."
That's so chuggy of them.
on the same page as like you know Humphrey Bogart might not be like the best looking dude. I feel like actresses or like female actors I feel like recently it's taken a little bit of a turn where it's like I feel like an actress like had to look good, and now it's like you have people who are getting roles into like later in life and stuff where they don't look necessarily as good, you know. And that's something that like women have really had to fight for. But I feel like dudes, like you can put an ugly fucking dude in a movie. Like Billy Bob
always
Thornton
been
is a
able to.
fucking Billy
You've
Bob
always been
Thornton is a
able to.
fucking actor, and
Is
that
Billy
man
Bob
looks.
Thornton not attractive?
I feel like that's
that
always
man.
been the case for men.
Used to
Like,
be,
dude,
man.
as a man, like men, and like they've never had to been that good looking. But you're right. Like, especially in these types of movies, you match a 40-year-old dude with a 25-year-old woman, you know, and like
Well, I mean,
Humphrey Bogart doesn't have to be like amazingly good looking, but
dudes who were in like movies in the 1930s that were like just bigger dudes would just be like, "Hold on, wear my pants up to here, cinch it real tight, and then stand like this so I look really strong." It's like, okay. And then in 1940s, it was like, oh, he's in such great shape. It's like, no. What?
It was all about pecs back in the 40s, you know?
Yeah.
Nothing
Giant
else.
pecs, nothing else.
It's like that one character in Food Fight.
I forgot about that. What is that?
The Vlasic pickle.
The giant block guy that just is like
Yeah.
overly
What is this
wide.
food fight
Yeah,
you
yeah.
mentioned?
What product did
Oh.
he advertise?
What is
Oh.
food fight?
Nothing. He was just at the very end. But he was like super, like, he was like a Minecraft character, but like super buff.
Like from that Kanye West music video.
Yes. Like
I'm a
the
sick
I love
fuck.
it.
I like a quick fuck. I'm a sick fuck.
Food Fight, the Casablanca knockoff.
It's a 2004.
You know, I
comedy
think it
film.
does. I think it does have some Casablanca references in it, if I remember correctly.
The whole.
What movie doesn't?
That's true.
That's true.
It's creepy that he calls her a kid. I don't like that line.
You don't
Here's
like
looking at
girls
you,
looking
kid.
at you, kid.
Yeah, it's like, kid? Really? The person you want to be intimate with, calling him a kid? I don't know. Seems kind of weird to me.
All right, Cameron, take off your 2021 lenses. Look at this from the view of 1943.
Or also calling the only black dude in the movie boy. That's not great either.
That
That's
was
pretty bad. That was not good.
That was the one that got me.
I mean, the kid thing is kind of weird. I was like, that's kind of odd. But yeah, that I was like,
But even still, pretty good for pre 1960.
yeah. I mean,
right?
other than those
That's
two
pretty good.
things, other than
I
those
mean,
two things,
Taken
yeah.
with the handicap, it's pretty good.
He was. I mean, Humphrey Bogart was just straight up like he gets 25% of the business. He's like, I know it's 10, but okay. Like, he's hooking his man up.
Nah, dude. Humphrey Bogart's character, what was it, Rick Blaine or something? What was his
Yes.
name?
Ass
Rick
lick.
Blaine.
Rick, kind of a dick at one point, but once his business gets shut down, like, he didn't forego his employees. He kept them on the pay books. He's good guy Rick.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. He did trick everyone and be like, ooh, I'm going to take the girl and run away and put Victor Laszlo in the bars. But then it all turned out in the end. He just had to shoot a German.
Well,
A
I
Nazi.
mean, there is a whole.
USA.
He also let that. I mean, he definitely wasn't like that the whole time. There were parts in the movie where he definitely like just was like, I don't stick my neck out for anybody. He literally said that like 10 times. Like, all right, thank you, we got the gist.
Well, but it really only was like one person that got in trouble. Because then the girl who frickin' Renault was being a really skis bag with, he helped her out.
That's true. But he said that so many times. He said like, "Oh, I don't stick my neck out for anybody." Like I don't know, at least 5 times.
She just
in the
changes
movie.
him, man.
They're building character.
Elsa just changes him.
Yeah, it's kind of like in Jurassic Park where the guy constantly talks about not
No.
liking kids. Do you remember that movie that we did that podcast for?
Well, if you don't remember it, you could go to the Patreon.
Someone's gonna go try and find this magical Patreon we've mentioned a few times, and they're gonna be like, "What the fuck? It's not here. Where is it? I need this Jurassic Park episode."
We're gonna
Airplane in Jurassic
we're gonna
Park. I
get-
need this content.
The Lost.
We're gonna get fucking added. That's just like, where's this?
We
Patreon?
should do what Disney does and just send our episodes to a vault and just occasionally bring them back out for publication.
We
now and then,
we
just
should
to
put them on
build-
VHS.
Build an
The
exclusivity
30th anniversary of our Jurassic Park episode.
brand. This year we're bringing out our airplane episode back out of the vault for a limited time only. Get it now at your local Target.
We'll sell it on
There
vinyl.
we go.
That's big. People
huge.
love vinyl.
Could you make our podcast sound shittier? Put it on vinyl.
Could you make especially the Jurassic Park and airplane episode sound
Welcome
shittier?
to a whole new level of low quality.
Why does this sound like it's coming from a phonograph?
We'll put it on cassette. But talking about the people Rick helps, how about the dude in the beginning who's like, he seems kind of like Igor, where he kind of talks like this, almost kind of like Stefan from SNL. He's just kind of like,
Rick's Cafe is tonight's hottest nightclub.
they have everything: gambling, women, and played against
Best of all, it's called.
Yeah, Yeah, is he like the weasel in Food Fight?
My God.
I just know like he seemed so skeevy. Like the minute I'm like, I hope this guy's not in this movie for a long time because he seems kind of sketchy and
He's
Good
also
for
is
you. He
kind
gets
of
arrested
annoying.
after like
Good
10
news.
minutes.
And murdered.
Yes.
Yeah, he doesn't really get arrested. He
Wait,
just,
when does he? Did he
just
get murdered? I guess I
gets
missed
killed.
that part.
Yeah, they're like, oh, he tried to
Yeah,
escape
they
or
try to
committed
arrest
suicide.
him, and then he tries to
Decided
run.
that.
We
He
haven't
committed
decided.
suicide by shooting himself in the back of the head 3 times. That's weird.
I will say I've seen this movie before, and I guess I just didn't pay too close attention to it because this time I was like, man, this makes a lot more sense. Like,
I will say this is one where it seems like if you don't pay attention to like the dialogue that closely, you can I don't know. It seems like you could definitely be like, this movie makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah,
You
there's
could definitely
so
get
many,
lost.
There's so many lines that are delivered almost like one-offs or throwaways, and I think they're just trying to get through the script so fast that it comes off as unimportant.
Yeah. I do think that it's like very much it makes sense that it like I don't know did well for when it came out because it really kind of is like a core Americana of like, you know, oh, we're fighting in this war and I'm super apathetic to it, but you know, now that this girl has convinced me otherwise, I'm ready to fight for, you know, I'm ready to fight again and ready to have a cause to stand up to, you know, stuff like that.
yeah, everyone's trying
Very
to run
post-war.
to America.
Yes. Very peak post-war film for sure.
I mean, it's mid-war.
Is it?
I was gonna say
Oh,
it was
okay,
43.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
42 is when it came out, so it's like during
Even better.
World War II.
Even better.
I love when the girl's way too drunk to be served. Sam's like, cut her off, and she's like, "Come on, one more drink." And the bartender's just like, "Look, I love you, but he pays me." Or the I don't what the heck's the French officer
Renault.
Renault when he's like, "We're shutting you down. I found out there's been illegal gambling. Here are your winnings, sir. Thank you." Like stuffs them in his pocket.
Rick's got a bunch of good ones. When Renault asked him like why he didn't return to America, which you never find out, by the way. But he's like, "Did you steal from the church? Run off with a senator's wife? I like to think you killed a man, but that's the romantic in me." And Rick's like, "It's a combination of all three."
Yeah, or he's like, what brought you to Casablanca? My health. I came to Casablanca for the waters. The waters were in a desert.
I was misinformed.
Or Renault. You know, he's not a great character, like, morally. But
He's
he
an
is kind of
entertaining
like,
character.
yeah, I was going to say, he's like semi-comic relief because when they're making the bet about Laszlo, he's like, well, make it 10,000. I'm only a poor, corrupt official.
Yeah. Or Rick's when he's asked what his nationality is, and he goes, "I'm a drunkard," and Renault goes, "That makes him a citizen of the world."
This movie is definitely of a time. I feel like the dialogue today is a lot more natural. This one is like, it definitely is kind of like set up in a sense. Like Rick and Sam talking, and he's like, "Oh, if it's 1941 in Casablanca, what time is it in New York? What? My watch stopped working. I bet they're asleep in New York." You know, it's like really like kind of, I don't want to say cheesy because a lot of this is like quoted and like still used today, but like it's kind of cheesy.
It's
Yeah,
non-conversational.
like you would never have a conversation like this unless you were like written for the screen.
Well, I also think a big difference in that is that, like, nowadays, one, things are written more conversationally. Two, I think actors are kind of allowed a little bit more play than they probably were back then, where it was like, this is the script, here it is on the cue card, you say what's written, and then we go home. That's it. Not like, you know, today where it's like, oh yeah, do a take like this. Like, okay, yeah, that was good. Now do a take where, like, you know, do it kind of this way. Or let me try this. Like, it was very much a, you went in, read this, or you do the scene as it's written, and then that's
Hey,
kind of it.
buddy, you need to get in there, read your lines, see, so we can get on to the next film.
the part where they like flash back to Paris. It's like, is that a cannon or is my heart pounding? Kiss me as if it were the last time. I'm just like, oh my god, murder me.
Gets me every time.
Yeah. Also, it's funny going back to these old movies with that. It's the transatlantic accent, right? Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
So that old timey accent that everybody talked in movies and stuff. It's just so odd.
Could
What were
be
they
from
thinking?
anywhere.
Yeah. What were you thinking? Like anywhere quote, sure, but yeah, it's just
This
so
is how we
odd.
do movies. See,
Like I wonder why that is. Like why they decided that. Like all collectively decided that was a good idea to record every movie in.
it's like this is what professional movie is.
Right.
You need to get with the script.
They got together and they were like, all right, so I know we don't normally talk like this. However, what if we all use this really funny accent that nobody actually speaks in? That would be weird, right? But super cool. We should try that.
See, I wonder if that was film, or I wonder if that's because most of the people all came from like theater, and so it became a very like. That's how they talked in the theater. That's how you talked proper in the theater, so that people could understand you no matter like where you went. Like if you were in a show and were traveling, and then once you got into movies, they just kind of kept that same
Maybe.
thing.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
Next week on Cocktails and
I'd
Classics.
be interested to know what why that happened.
We do a deep dive of thoughts. We don't actually do any
I don't have time for
research.
Yeah.
Just throwing ideas out. Could be truth, could be fact, could be fiction. I'm sure we'll get tweets about the fact that I'm wrong.
It's the mid-Atlantic accent or the transatlantic accent.
Yeah. I've heard transatlantic.
Apparently, there is some ASMR about it if you really want to listen to
ASMR.
that.
I don't want that.
Shoot it my way, man.
Fashionably used in the early 20th century American upper class and entertainment industry, which blended together features regarded as the most prestigious from both American and British English. It is not a native or regional accent. Rather, according to voice and drama professor Dudley Knight, its earliest advocates bragged that its chief quality was that no Americans actually spoke it unless educated to do so. The accent was embraced in private independent preparatory schools, especially by members of the northeastern upper class, as well as in schools for film and stage acting, but its overall use sharply declined following the Second World War. A similar accent that resulted from many different historical processes is Canadian dainty, also known as Canadian in the same era. More recently, the term mid-Atlantic accent can also refer to any accent from a perceived mixture of both American and British characteristics.
So it's an elitist thing then.
Yeah, seems like it.
Sick. Nice.
Makes sense. The rich people owned
Right.
movie studios. That's how they'd want people to talk
They
like
probably
them.
still do.
It's just so funny the ways that
Oh, I'm
humans
sure.
try to exclude other humans from things, you know? They're like, yeah, we're going to talk in this really funny way, see? We're going to make it... we're going to talk in this really weird way. You have to get trained
There's a
up.
list of people on here, like William Buckley Jr., FDR and Eleanor Roosevelt, H.P. Lovecraft, Jackie Kennedy. They all like talked with it throughout their lives.
For a second, I was really hoping you'd say like JFK, and I'd be like, "There's no fucking way anyone wrote
I
that."
refuse
In all
to
honesty,
believe.
ask not what you can do for your country, but what your country can do for you. Oh yeah, that sounds straight up like how they talk in Casablanca.
So here's... I have a question for you guys. So we saw Rick... it was his cafe, right? I think he owned it.
Yes.
Yeah.
We saw how he handled it during World War II. How do you think he would handle his cafe today in a pandemic? Would he be an anti-masker? Would he allow people to come in without masks
It
on?
would still be open.
Oh, see, I wasn't gonna go that route. I was gonna say the bartenders would be much happier
What do you mean?
because they'd still be collecting their pay and they wouldn't have to come in during the pandemic.
Oh, I see. Okay. No, I'm referring to like... Because he was like, oh, I don't stick my neck out for anybody. I don't care about the war or any of that stuff, you know? I'm just doing my thing in the bar. Like, do you think he'd like... I don't know, adhere to like standards, or you think he'd like kick people
Are
out?
you asking if I think Rick is a Republican or
No,
not? Is that what you're
no, it's not necessarily a
I
political
think
thing.
that's what he's trying
No,
to dance
no,
around.
no. I'm just he's
I
apathetic.
just want to know if he'd wear a
I'm
mask.
just I'm just asking if he's an anti-masker or not.
I don't think
So
so.
Republic.
See, I don't
Got
think so
it.
because Rick would have been old enough to remember the Spanish flu.
That's true.
So I think he would have been down for wave 2 of Let Me Put My Mask Back On.
That's true. That's a good point.
But he wouldn't be alive.
I think he would have had it.
at this point in time. So
No, he's alive now.
Well, I feel like
Well, I mean, let's be honest. He was born in 1899, so like, yeah, he's doing well if he's still alive.
120 years old, Loki.
oldest
Humphrey
person
Bogart,
alive.
who died in like 1950s.
Dude's got
I think
Horcruxes
like
everywhere.
57. He died. What if he were like,
His Horcrux is hidden in Sam's piano.
You know,
Yeah, I was just curious because I feel like it's so weird to just have it. I don't know. Like he's so apathetic towards like
Which
the
would have
war
been
effort in general.
Not a great hiding spot. You know, if you're gonna put something illegal, you're gonna put it in your piano
Oh yeah.
player's piano. Kind of just throw them under the bus if they were to actually like go in there.
Yeah, not great. Not a great look.
We're gonna hit up some ads real fast. Come back for a little trivia quiz. So this week's podcast is brought to you by Surfside Sips. They make high-impact glass straws. They're a family-owned company, and what's better than saving the turds? You know,
The turds.
The turds.
you know, I'm one of those people who hates using paper straws. Paper straws fucking
Paper straws suck.
I
They are
love
the worst
what
solution.
they do. I love that we're minimizing the use of plastic straws. I enjoy that. Paper straws suck ass.
They suck. They are the worst possible solution because turns out, guess what? Paper and water don't fucking mix, okay? I don't know who came up with it, but it doesn't work. Even though they put coating on it to try and help, it doesn't work. It just gets soggy and you end up throwing it away anyway, and that's just more waste. And so,
But you know what doesn't get soggy? Glass.
yeah.
Glass straws from Surfside Sips. And if you want to get some glass straws from Surfside Sips, you can use coupon code cocktails and classics spelled out. That's cocktails AND classics for 20% off your order.
And if you're looking for a business to support during this time, seems like a good idea.
A little bit of a tradition around here. Zach takes over, puts us through a trivia quiz. Zach, you did your research. What do you got for us on Casablanca?
So question number 1 is, which of the following famous lines was actually improvised? A. Round up the usual suspects. B. Here's looking at you, kid. Or C. We'll always have Paris.
I'm gonna go with A. Round up the usual suspects. That line just seems so off the cuff when he said it. It's like, wait, really? That's how they're gonna play this scene out? Okay. So
What
I'm
a
gonna say
great
that
scene,
one.
by the way.
That was so weird. He just
I'm
like
gonna
shot him,
say-
and then the guy just decided to be cool. Then, like all of a sudden, out of nowhere, that was weird.
I mean, he kind of like pitched that like he didn't really care. Like he would be.
I know he wouldn't
whichever
care,
way.
but yeah.
Well, but I'm saying like that he
And-
would like just switch sides easily.
well, and also like one, you got to think Rick's is probably like the one thing he enjoys about being in Casablanca.
yeah, it's probably true. He's there a lot.
I mean, it's basically the only place he hangs out, and if he loses Rick's, he's basically screwed.
You don't want to go to the Blue Parrot. That place is a fucking shithole.
So yeah, that's my answer. Is A.
I'm gonna say we'll always have Paris because I think that's the only one that isn't repeated. Because here's looking at you, kid, is repeated multiple times, and then round up the usual suspects. They say something similar, I think, earlier in the film. So that's my reasoning. I mean, they also could have improvised it once and then just kept using it, but I'm using the big brain move and saying that it's the only one that is not repeated.
See, Dylan, I was thinking along the same lines, but a little bit differently. I think they talked around saying, like, the usual suspects in this, like, and that, like, we've brought in the usual suspects or we're rounding up the usual suspects. And so at the last line where, like, he was probably supposed to say, like, you know, I don't know what the hell he was supposed to say, but instead he's like, round up the usual suspects. And they're like, oh, okay. That was code for, like,
Nice.
All right, bring in all the random people for us to interrogate who probably aren't guilty.
Kevin Spacey.
No, I guess technically he won't be found guilty if his accuser does not show up in court. So.
I was just talking about the movie he was in.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god, Dylan didn't get the reference. No.
No, I know. I was playing off that he's a criminal.
No, he's definitely a criminal. Well, I mean, do you have to be... Is it that you commit a crime and therefore you're a criminal, or you're convicted of committing a crime and therefore you're a
convicted
criminal?
if you're innocent until proven guilty. So unless he is charged...
It's in the court of law, though. Like, we know Kevin Spacey did that diddle. Like, we know OJ killed his wife.
Well,
Right.
Yeah, the court of public
But-
opinion and the court of law are very different things.
yes. Legally, he is neither a criminal, and OJ is not a...
Well, so I don't know, because there's a difference between a criminal and a felon.
OJ's a criminal, wasn't he? Convicted. of
OJ
something?
was
But he did not
arrested
murder.
and convicted.
Well, we didn't
Yeah, but
say
he's still
whether
a
or not he
criminal
was a
because he
murderer,
broke
but he
in-
was still a
because-
criminal.
Yeah, he broke into somewhere to steal his own memorabilia.
But he's talking
he
about
got
OJ
arrested for
being
that
a
and went to
murderer,
jail.
and I said he is not a murderer.
Right,
Well,
but he is
probably
a criminal.
lost.
No, you said he's not a criminal, which is
No.
wrong.
I said Kevin Spacey is not a criminal.
Well, Kevin
I did that-
Spacey is a criminal.
I did
Dylan.
Well, so I don't agree with this actually. I think that you can be a criminal.
I did unspoken pronouns here.
Can we play the tape back? Can we play the tape back? Because I'm almost 100% sure Dylan said that OJ is also not a criminal.
Oh, hang on.
I
We got the
said-
tape. We got to hear it.
No, I said he is not a criminal, and
OJ's
OJ
a
did
great
not
guy.
commit
Kevin
murder.
Spacey's awesome too. Wow,
I
Dylan, I
think-
can't believe you said that. It was worse than I remembered.
I don't agree with your assessment of criminal. I want to see. All right. So a criminal defined by the dictionary is somebody who is a person who has committed a crime. They don't have to be convicted of the crime. So
But
So
you can be
Cam is a
without
criminal.
being convicted.
So they know on the inside.
Now, if you're a felon, that means that you have been convicted of a felony.
But here's the thing, okay? And I'm not saying
what if
this
you've only
for
been
Kevin
convicted of a
Spacey
misdemeanor?
because let's be honest,
Then
he's
you're misdemeanor, obviously.
pretty sketchy. But like,
My
You're
hip-hop
obviously
name.
Missy Elliott.
Misdemeanor.
but what if someone accuses you of a crime but you're not guilty? And people still call you a criminal? Are you technically a criminal? You never actually
Well, I
did
mean,
anything.
It's like if OJ didn't actually do it, but we're saying he did.
Well, you're kind of verging on like philosophical universal truth, right? Like there isn't really one universal truth to everybody. Like you could be a
But
criminal.
you're
with
really
one
saying-
person,
open to
not
the
another.
Schrodinger's cat of criminals.
Just say the thing is that we're calling someone a criminal, but they technically like, you know, we're pretty certain, but like we don't have definitive.
Like if
I see
OJ
that
is trapped in a box, and
And his wife's head is there, too.
His wife is
and
also
we
in
flip
that
a
box.
switch,
headless. But
as
his
far as
gloves
we
don't
know,
fit.
in the
Is
box
he
there is
guilty?
a murderer and not a murderer.
Yeah.
So it's
that's
really the
right.
Schrodinger's OJ of.
Yeah.
This
What if the
podcast
glove? If there is
so
OJ's glove in the
ridiculous.
box and he has not tried it on, it both fits and does not fit.
Oh,
And that, kid,
Well
If we
done
can
modern
agree-
mechanics.
that the glove does not fit, then we can assume that we must acquit.
we can all agree, right, that the glove doesn't fit, right? We all agree. We agree that the glove doesn't fit. Yes, I see the old Ben Shapiro defense.
Yes.
So then, therefore, we must also agree that he is not guilty, and we must acquit. Thank you. Anyway, what's the answer to this question?
Did I get Ben's answer?
I
said A.
A.
The correct answer is B. Here's
What?
looking at you, kid.
They
Wow.
repeated the line like 5 times.
They loved it when he said it. They loved it, and they squeezed it in every chance they could.
I hated
wow.
it. Thought that was a stupid fucking line.
Well, now it makes sense, Cameron. They didn't write it. Humphrey Bogart's just fucking old, and it's probably something they said in the 1800s.
Hey, you're young enough to be my child. I'll call you kid. But also, I'm interested in you romantically.
I mean,
will say,
did you
I've heard
not
old
see?
people say it.
Did you not see like the last 7 Roger Moore James Bond movies?
I haven't seen I don't know if I've seen a ton
You
of
want to
those,
talk about
honestly.
like a dude who's old enough to be someone's grandparent?
Oh, I'm sure it's weird. Yeah.
Creepy.
All right. So the good news is we have a tie, a 3-way tie amongst you gentlemen.
For last.
Suppose that's yeah, that's true. But in a
And
different
first.
perspective, we're also tied for first.
This is one of those movies that is sort of barred from ever getting a remake. There won't be a remake or a redo or whatever of Casablanca. But in the mid 2000s, former at the time pop star Madonna pitched a remake to studio executives of this film with her starring as Ilsa Lund, and with who as her male counterpart? A. Bruce Willis, B. Sean William Scott, or C. Ashton Kutcher
Oh
At
my
what point in
god,
time?
Sean William
in the
Scott.
mid 2000s.
Fuck.
Mid 2000s.
Oh my god, dude.
Yes. John McClane,
John William Scott.
Stifler, or that guy from Dude, Where's My Car?
Ashton Kutcher.
Not really. You didn't go with Kelso from that '70s show, or new Charlie Sheen,
No.
Oh,
New
man.
Charlie Sheen.
Charlie
or
Sheen.
I guess if you're Demi Moore, new Bruce Willis.
Oh,
Got him.
Man.
I'm gonna say Bruce Willis just because he's the only one I can like. It's probably wrong, but I'd actually could see him playing Humphrey Bogart.
I feel like it's got to be Sean Scott or whatever. What's his name?
Sean William Scott.
I feel like it's such a
Kid.
left field answer. I'm picking that one.
I'm also gonna go with Bruce Willis, because there was that movie that he did, the one that was like super sexual.
The Sixth Sense.
Exactly.
Talking about the one where he was like a bartender.
I don't know, dog. I don't
Was
know
it
my
like-
Bruce Willis shit.
Coyote
Bruno.
Bruno, yeah, that's what it was.
No,
It
it's
was
not.
Bruno.
Yeah, he was in Burnout. Don't you guys remember that scene, the helicopter scene?
Rehearse that every night before bed.
Somehow they let me into that movie without like an adult present when I was like 15 or something. They specifically had signs in the theater that were like, you must be 18 to buy a ticket to this movie. They did not care though, apparently.
I think we need to revisit and understand the rules of the whole sweep versus not sweep thing, because we're on territory of this never happening.
Are we getting all swept?
The correct answer was Ashton Kutcher,
Oh man.
which means we're still tied, guys.
You know what
We're
they would
still
have called that
tied,
remake of
reverse place.
Casablanca? Box office bomb.
Got him.
Yeah, it's
got 'em.
Color of Night. It was the one I said. It's a sexual thriller, equally lewd and ludicrous, sleazy and boring.
weird. Oh no.
If somebody gets this right, they take it home.
They do,
This is
but
it.
if nobody gets it right, I think I get my
three-
first win.
I think Zach gets the win. I think Zach. We just
Three-way
consider Zach the
tiebreaker?
winner.
We're about to throw the second no-hitter 2 days in a row here. Question number 3. What was a hobby of Humphrey Bogart's during the filming of Casablanca? Was it A, sleeping with co-star Ingrid Bergman?
I
my
knew it was
God.
coming something like that.
Jesus.
B, playing chess with a friend by mail? Or C, hiding his clothes so that he could delay filming his scenes?
What? He'd just be like, all right.
Like
I can't-
his suit and tuxedo
Yeah,
and stuff.
I'd love to film this scene, but I can't find my tie.
Yeah.
Weird. Can someone find my tie for me?
All right, Humphrey, for fuck's sake, this is the 6th time we found the tie in the goddamn piano. It's in the fucking script. We know where you're putting the tie.
I'm gonna go with the weird fucking chess by mail thing. That's
I thought you were gonna say the weird sleeping with his co-star thing.
No, because that's not that weird, is it? Like, I don't know. I feel like that happens a lot.
That's how
You
they
dabble
just
in the
pass
dark arts,
time.
Cam?
I don't do that. I'm just saying that like there's a lot of movies.
You know of people who.
There's a lot of like Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt was a direct result of them shooting a movie together. You know,
If Cameron was in a box with his 15-year younger co-star,
not saying I would not. I'm not saying that I would do that. I'm just saying that it's not
we
uncommon.
don't know he didn't.
Playing chess by mail is
especially almost
infinitely
80
weirder.
years later. Who would know? Who could say?
Playing chess by mail is just like more out there.
I'm not leaning towards the chess. I don't think it's that. I feel like it's either sleeping with his co-star or hiding his clothes. I think I'm going to say hiding his clothes. I feel like you're getting that paycheck. Maybe hiding a few clothes items, delaying filming a little bit, make a little bit more money, take a little more sweet time.
So, here's the thing, and I don't. This is where Zach is. I'm gonna give him props. Master meme maker Zach here. There is a scene towards the beginning of the movie where we first see Rick, and what is he doing? Playing chess by himself. Now, is this in reference to the fact that he loved to play chess? Or did Zach just take this small, minute thing and turn it into a meme for his question? And did he bamboozle me?
Good question.
Well, here's the thing. You haven't answered the question. So you have both
I'm in a
been
box.
bamboozled and not been bamboozled.
I'm going to say it's the chess thing. I feel like that's why there was a chessboard on set. He liked to play chess with people. And it was like 1941 when they filmed this movie. And so he would just like send a letter out, be like queen to... I don't know what chessboard things are.
So Humphrey Bogart's wife sort of famously stormed onto the set one day, accusing Humphrey Bogart of sleeping with co-star Ingrid Bergman. Now, according to all sources, Ingrid, Humphrey, the producers on set, they did not sleep together. However, it is a well-known fact that Humphrey would take pictures of a chessboard, write down the move he was making, and then mail the photo and the move to a friend in France, who would then copy it down, move his chessboard, rinse and repeat. And they continued that game while filming Casablanca.
Nice.
So we still have a tie, Ben and Cam.
I did catch the meme. I caught the meme.
Which
Did you even pay attention to the chess thing? Was that supposed to be the clue?
Yeah, I was like, I can put it's not like the other answers, and I can put this in, and they might call me on bullshit, and then I'll get them. I didn't think I'd get close to a 3-question sweep though. I kind of figured you guys were gonna dick me at the end. One of you would go A, one would go B, and one would go C. But I'm proud of you guys for not doing that.
Held
Giving
true
me
to
a
our
fair
convictions.
The next thing we're going to do is test you on your Nazi trivia, because the tiebreaker is something you guys are all familiar with, and it's Nazi Germany. Alright, the tie-breaking question. It is typical format, closest without going over. How many years did it take until this film could be released in Germany?
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Probably more than 3.
So the interesting thing is like,
I will tell you the film was heavily edited to remove all the direct Nazi
Okay.
references.
I was gonna say, in Germany they literally cannot show Nazi anything. Like the Wolfenstein games there
Nazi?
get
How would you
completely.
know that?
No, well, like the Wolfenstein games there get scrubbed.
Not
of
are
all
you
Nazi
German? It's are you a
swastika or anything.
Nazi? Like, oh, he didn't say no.
I'm ignoring that.
Well,
'cause
German
for obvious
would
reasons.
insinuate that he was just German. I wanted to go even further with my assumptions.
I'm gonna skip past that. But yeah, like I said, the
What are you,
Wolfenstein
OJ?
game when it was released.
How would you know?
When it was released in Germany, they scrubbed out all the Nazi stuff, any of it. Like Hitler doesn't have his Hitler mustache either. It's just like he just looks like a dude.
No Charlie Chaplin
removed all
stash?
No.
They removed all the CKLs.
I don't know if they got rid of that, but
They put them in a box.
anywho, I'm gonna go ahead and say we'll just say a solid 10 years. That's what I'm gonna say.
I'm gonna say oh man. Okay, so this movie was released in 43. 10 years.
Released in 42.
Ben's like, you think that changes my answer?
I don't think it was released still until later than that. I was gonna say 17, 18 years.
You're thinking 1960?
Sometime in there, yeah.
Wait, which Germany? Which section?
Sorry, I did not look into whether it was East or West Germany.
Well, I guess it kind of matters on the
So my research just said Germany. And the film, after removing all the Nazi references, was released in Germany in 1952. Exactly 10 years. The Ghost
Nice.
of Carlos strikes again.
Nice.
A little bit,
10 years on the dot.
A little bit more detail on that. This says that an edited version was released in West Germany in 52, and then I guess maybe they showed it more times, but there was a TV premiere in the 80s in East Germany. So this movie holds a special place in our heart. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But we've got a rating based off nostalgia, and then we got an updated rating. We'll give you both. And Cam, are you the only one that has not seen it?
I have not.
Cam, go first. It's season 3. You know,
Season 3, just keeping it up, keeping it real. When
Keeping
keeping
it
it real
up.
goes wrong. All right, yeah. Yeah, this one was all right. I don't really get the hype. Maybe I didn't get the movie as much as other people did, but I thought it was just okay. Like, and it's tough because I was curious because I looked at the IMDb ratings and it's mostly positive. There are very few negative reviews. I did see one review from 1999 where the guy was like, there are 50 people on here that rated it. 3 of them said they didn't like it, and I'm going to add my voice to those 3 people, basically. And so, you know, now there's like thousands of reviews for it.
Yes. 500,000.
Yes. So, I don't know. I don't know. It was okay. It was just okay for me. Like, it wasn't so boring that I was just like sitting there like, wow, this is just like awful. But it also wasn't like, to me, like an amazing movie that somebody has to watch, you know? So for those reasons, I'm just going to give it a 5. I thought it was okay.
Going in, I gave it a 7. I remember thinking, it's all right. It's decent. Pretty good movie. Watching it again, noticed a few more things. It is kind of like American propaganda. I mean, Rick is kind of like an anti-hero, sort of. Like, he's like a bad dude in America, so he can't return. But he honestly just doesn't care. He's helped run guns and everything. Just kind of does whatever for money. I don't know. I enjoy the movie. I'll say that. Things that kind of annoy me is like, oh, he doesn't have drinks with anyone. He's like, he doesn't stick his neck out. But as soon as this girl walks in, all of these walls break and he's gonna like start helping everyone and have drinks with people. Like, I don't know.
I think the first drink he had was like purely just to like spite her, right?
Yeah, when she sits down with, or when he sits down with Laszlo and everything.
Yeah,
is that the first
like,
drink,
Rick
or
never
is it
drinks
when he's
with people, and it's like, oh, it's this girl and her now this other guy she's with. Oh, I'll sit down and have a drink. Be like, bitch, let me show you what you could have had.
a 80-year-old man?
Listen here, whippersnapper.
Here's to looking at you, kid. I'm gonna stay at a 7. It is good. I would recommend to people who want to like get into classics, get into older movies. I think it's a good one.
Going in, I'd watched this movie, like I said, for a film appreciation class, and it was a movie that you had to watch like one of 2 movies. It was this movie, and I don't even remember the other one. I was like, yeah, Casablanca, I feel like, is one of those movies that everyone talks about. Like, I'll watch that one. I had low expectations going in. I thought to myself, like, this is going to be an old movie. It's going to be boring. It's not going to be good. I was actually pleasantly surprised when I watched it in college. I really kind of enjoyed it. I liked it a lot better than I thought I did. So my going in rating was also at like a 7. Watching it again, I feel like there's things that I picked up on this time that, you know, some of like the throwaway lines in that I enjoyed. Just some of the other, I guess, like small kind of things that happen that you kind of pick up on when you're watching it, I guess, critically to rate it and talk about it is a bit different than when you're watching it just to bullshit like a 1-page paper about it.
Wait, that's not what you think this podcast is? I kind of treat this as a 1-page paper.
I watched the movies anymore for this podcast specifically to look for clues of what I think Zach will ask a question about.
Chessboard. I'm writing that down.
Mental note: there's a chessboard on set. For what I expect from like a classic movie, I feel like this kind of checks the boxes. I enjoy it. I think it's a movie people should definitely watch, but I actually bumped it up to an 8.
All right, I was getting worried there for a second. This is a movie that I watch a lot. I think it's the perfect date night movie. You have to know it came out in 42 because of the boy reference and the kid reference that come up quite a bit. But this movie is a classic for a reason. It's quoted, it's spoofed, or people pay tribute to it a lot for a reason. It's a really good movie. It tells a great story. Rick, I agree, is sort of this anti-hero, but you eventually discover the backstory. You know, they play Rick up like this not-so-great guy, and then you find out at the end it was Ilsa who left him at the train station, and it was from that point on he stopped doing all of this charitable work to help with the war. He stopped really opening up to people, and that's why he owns the Rick's American Cafe that we love nowadays in Morocco. This movie, I don't know. I've seen it a bunch, and I don't know if my ratings ever changed. I fell in love with it the first time I saw it. Watching it again was no different. So I'm going to give it now what I gave it when I went in, and that's a 9 out of 10.
If you enjoyed this episode, hopefully you do, leave a review, rate, subscribe, follow, share us with your friends. Check us out on Instagram at Cocktails and Classics Pod. Check the show notes. Make a French 75. And as always, watch responsibly.